You ever ask yourself, I wonder what the FBI is doing today to protect America, to protect me? Maybe they're investigating smuggling across the border, tracking terrorists in the country on overstayed visas. Maybe they're hunting down the thousands of pedophile rings which openly operate on the internet. No, they're not doing that. No. Our FBI is actually very busy right now. It has been tasked by the Attorney General to track, to interrogate, to investigate, to intimidate parents who are going to school board meetings in order to voice their displeasure with the various mandates being enforced on public schools, as well as just what's being taught, such as transgenderism, pride, critical race theory. And you might be thinking, well, isn't that the First Amendment right of those parents to do just that? But actually, those parents, they're Nazis. The National School Board Association actually wrote to Biden asking for help for the FBI to come assist them with these violent white supremacist Nazi parents who are coming to their meetings. They explain that the violent rhetoric that these parents are espousing towards the school board members is threatening to, you guessed it, our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to 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 our democracy.
Haven't heard that line before? These violent verbal assault and batteries have been increasing steadily from these anti-mask, anti-vax, racist parents. And the Attorney General, he understands, he hears the call from the school board, the National School Board, and he decides that yes, indeed, we do need thousands of FBI agents to take on this insurrectionist parent threat. A large reason for this FBI involvement is because, as the National School Board claims, these are racially motivated protests. These are white supremacist Nazis, and they got the proof. And I gotta say, the evidence is overwhelming. At one of the hundreds of protests and school board meetings that were happening recently, a member of the audience, while a school board member was speaking, rose up the Nazi salute and said, "Hail Hitler." Now, if you actually look into it a bit deeper, if you do one Google search, it quickly becomes evident that the guy who said it was being sarcastic and was implying that the school board were a bunch of Nazis. I mean, if you think about it, if anything, he was saying that the school board is bad, Nazis are bad, you're Nazis, you're bad and authoritarian and fascistic. I mean, even the woman who he interrupted to call a Nazi addressed the fact that he was calling her a Nazi. But that didn't matter to the media, that didn't matter to the National School Board, and that sure as hell doesn't matter to the FBI. He's probably a Nazi anyway. The whole group, they're all a bunch of Nazis. Another reason the National School Board claims the FBI needs to get involved, and they are getting involved, is because school board members are being intimidated into resigning due to the pressure from these protesters. On this claim, the school board provides two pieces of evidence, and in the first piece of evidence, which they link, the article that they link as their source material, the source, I just clicked on the link that was in the paper that they wrote and sent to the FBI, and now the FBI is investigating parents for, the source that they put. The article says that the school board member resigned to spend more time with his family and makes no mention of fear of his life or his family's lives due to these protests. I mean, you thought I wasn't going to check, didn't you? Did you think that I wasn't even going to read the article, let alone check your sources? That I was just going to read some Twitter post from CNN referencing your article? It says a lot, I think, about how they view the intelligence of their audience. The second source that they reference is a guy on a school board who did, in fact, resign for fear of the safety of his family. This school board member resigned because one night there was a car which was idling across the street from his house, and he suspected that there were people out to get him. Now, of course, there weren't any pictures of this car, and there's no substantiated evidence that he was at any point actually in danger, but he was afraid. So even though the school board claims that many people on school boards locally are resigning out of fear for their family's safety, they can only provide 2 instances in which this happens. In one instance, it is completely unrelated, and in the second one, there is no evidence whatsoever. There was no violence done to him or his family. No one showed up at his house and started yelling obscenities or threats through his window, but he was worried about it. Yeah, I mean, based off that evidence, it seems like this is a very strong claim that they're making. And now there are FBI agents which are targeting parents who question what their children are being taught at public school. I know I've been joking around, having fun here, but this is actually what tyranny is. This is soft, modern tyranny. What this is, plain and simple, is the establishment cracking down on anti-establishment voices. We don't live in an age where tyrants can simply order the army to go and shoot everyone who disagrees with them. In modern America, oligarchs need to utilize the guise of democracy and safety and general good in order to enforce their tyranny. Any political organization which genuinely goes against the interest of the establishment will quickly find themselves being smeared by the corporate news media. Any threat to the globalist establishment political elite is a threat to our democracy, and a threat to our democracy is a terrorist. And suddenly, concerned parents who went to a school board meeting have FBI agents knocking on their door, intimidating them because they wanted to know why their kid is being taught that all white people are evil, taught Christianity is evil, and that their little Timmy can become little Sally whenever he wants. And the starkest contrast can be seen in the difference between genuine anti-establishment organizations and political movements and establishment-approved anti-establishment organizations. Look at these clips of Black Lives Matter at school board meetings. Tell me, where's the outrage? Where's the FBI investigation?
Tonight, questions raised about whether the Black Lives Matter movement should be taught in schools. It is a topic that came up during a packed Sarasota County School Board meeting earlier tonight.
Protesters with Black Lives Matter interrupt a Lawrence Public School Board meeting.
We are here and we demand respect, and you don't respect us.
Tonight, the district shared this video on its YouTube page.
January 6th, a bunch of 60-year-olds were waved into the Capitol by Capitol Police, and this is an insurrection, this is a revolution. And those people caught for trespassing on Capitol grounds have been kept in detention centers for a year without bail in horrible conditions. But they're traitors, so it's justified to hold hundreds of people without bail in prison, solitary confinement, 23 hours a day for a year. Do I have to remind you people that 2 times last year, Antifa tried to set up their own little country in America, an autonomous zone, Chaz? Outright declared, this is our land now. America's laws aren't valid here. And there were murders and rapes. Are they traitors? No, of course not. The news forgot about it a day after it was over, and America forgot about it a week after it was over. Last year, BLM burnt down cities, looted entire city blocks. FBI investigation, not necessary. Did the judges determine that their political ideology was too dangerous to release them like they did with the Jan 6 insurrectionists? No, they made bail, and senators paid their bail. No need for 23 hours solitary confinement for them. Get them back out on the streets. Get them back to another protest. They are funded by every single establishment and corporation in America. They are supported by every single establishment corporation in America, but their entire rhetoric is anti-establishment because they are establishment-approved anti-establishment groups. They're the establishment's controlled opposition, the jabronis which all the useful idiots can join, as if they are opposition in the first place. All of their policy aligns with the establishment. This corrupt regime is tightening the noose around your neck of anyone who opposes them. And you best be ready, because they are not going to allow you to live in